Have you ever wondered how development happens? This video gives an overview on how new development happens for a property in the city of Coquitlam. Starting with the big picture, like other cities,
There's a brochure that goes with each video, and it's just going through final edits. So if worst comes to worst, we can just read this. I much prefer the canned narrator to.
All right, I think we're ready.
Is the original narrator here with us? Bruce.
No, Bruce was the last video. This one's different.
Oh,
No, we're not ready yet.
Read along. Unfortunately, this is not showing at home.
Why?
Let's take online.
The video presentation on the screen doesn't show.
Oh,
that's better.
Both videos are available on the city's YouTube channel for the public.
Pull it up there.
Sorry about this.
Please stand by.
Can we approve
I
minutes
just
while we're
see
waiting?
the
Is it okay
announcements
to
have
do the agenda?
small
Yeah,
hands.
so why don't we move to item 3, which is approval of the minutes.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Councillor Edmondson, seconded by Councillor Hodge. All in favor? Move adjournment? Yeah.
We pause for station definition.
Please do not adjust yourself.
Problem.
I see we had no media today. No media took an interest in our
We're watching.
agenda today.
We're watching live.
They're streaming it from their office. Travel budget's been cut.
The chat's on today.
We don't have committee next week.
We do.
Oh, we do? Oh, then we're doing it this week, and then it's after the next one we start.
Just the delegations.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot we had some scheduled already.
Well, sort of was busy.
Everybody check your emails.
What the heck's going on?
It's just a large file, so it takes a little bit to download. Almost there.
18, 9.
No.
There was actually at the Coquitlam last week, there was someone that their video was showing the countdown, 20 seconds.
Oh, did they?
I'm on it.
This little Sissy's numbered in reverse order.
You still on the phone?
Piece of paper.
have you ever wondered how development happens? This video gives an overview on how new development
That's the mayor's
Yeah,
computer.
you can turn that off now. It's showing off.
Loud enough for the speaker.
Have you ever wondered how development happens? This video gives an overview on how new development happens for a property in the city of Coquitlam. Starting with the big picture, like other cities in the Lower Mainland, Coquitlam has an official community plan commonly referred to as the OCP. The OCP is a land use vision that guides future growth and shows the types of development that can happen. Coquitlam's OCP has been developed through consulting with the community, technical and environmental studies, and is based on the city's other strategic and master plans. The OCP is adopted by Coquitlam City Council and is used by Council in deciding what type of development can happen and where it can occur. The OCP is made up of 4 parts. First is the citywide plan, which sets priorities and addresses issues that affect the entire city. Second are area plans, which focus on land uses, policies, and issues relevant to a particular area of the city. Coquitlam has 4 area plans: Northeast, Northwest, City Center, and Southwest. Third is the neighborhood plan, which provides a detailed vision for a particular neighborhood. It defines the type and location of housing and commercial buildings, identifies natural and recreation areas, plans for community facilities, and outlines pedestrian, cycling, and vehicle networks. It also knits together a variety of citywide policies and scales them down to the neighborhood level. And finally, the urban design and development permit areas, which help guide the design of buildings and how they relate to each other to help create attractive and walkable neighborhoods. The OCP is a plan that evolves and changes over time as Coquitlam continues to grow. In addition to providing a vision for the future use of land, the city's OCP has land use designations that assign specific uses to each individual property. These land uses identify the future types of development that can happen on a property, such as commercial, single-family, or multi-family housing. Each land use designation is further broken down into specific zones, which make up the city's zoning bylaw. The zoning bylaw is a tool to implement the vision set by the OCP. The zoning bylaw controls the present use of land and is a tool used to implement the city's policies and land uses. The zone on a property specifies the permitted uses, lot dimensions, the height of buildings, the number of units, lot coverage, and how far the building must be set back from the street. With all of these, the OCP, neighborhood plans, zoning regulations, and development processes, there are a lot of variables to understand. It can be confusing. We're here to help. If you have questions, please contact the city's Planning and Development Department. So let's walk through one example to see how these policies work together. Miss Fraser owns 4 lots. Even though there are houses currently on the land, she would like to replace them with an apartment building. To do this, she must check to see if the existing land use will permit an apartment building on her properties. In this case, the land use defined by the OCP allows for an apartment, so she can proceed with the development application. First, Ms. Fraser begins the development process by applying to the Planning Department for a pre-application. The pre-application, which is optional, provides the city with a chance to review her proposed project. This helps Ms. Fraser get early feedback identifying the requirements and issues that can be addressed prior to making a full application. Ms. Fraser will also be notified of the other requirements and applications that she will complete as a part of the development process. Then, Ms. Fraser applies for rezoning. In this case, the zone she applies for must match the corresponding zones in the OCP. If they don't match, an OCP amendment would be necessary. At the same time, Ms. Fraser would also apply for a development permit. This is to demonstrate that her building meets the city's form and character guidelines, which help to create attractive and walkable neighborhoods. When Ms. Fraser's application meets the city's guidelines and regulations, the rezoning application will go to City Council to get approval. In the case of the rezoning application, a public hearing will also be held. The purpose of the public hearing is to notify the surrounding neighbors of Ms. Fraser's application and to provide the community with an opportunity to express their opinions about the project. Once the land is rezoned, the development permit will be presented to Council for consideration. In this scenario, another application that Ms. Fraser is required to apply for is a land consolidation application. This is to consolidate the 4 individual lots into one large lot that will be big enough for an apartment building. Once the rezoning and the development permit have been approved by City Council, the subdivision application to consolidate the lots would be approved by City staff. At this point, Ms. Fraser would apply for a building permit, which grants her permission to start construction and will ensure the building meets the BC Building Code. She also needs to apply for a demolition permit to remove the existing houses. As a part of her development, Ms. Fraser will pay the city a number of fees to provide infrastructure and amenities that support community growth and development. These fees include development cost charges, which the city and the region use to upgrade parks, arterial streets, and water and sewer infrastructure. In this area, community amenity contributions to support new community facilities in the neighborhood. Ms. Fraser also needs to pay a school site acquisition charge, which helps the school district acquire new school sites. In addition to these fees, Ms. Fraser will also upgrade the water and sewer pipes to serve her new building, put power and phone lines underground, and enhance the neighborhood by rebuilding the street and back lane, including new curbs, sidewalks, street lights, and street trees. Ms. Fraser will also make sure her lot is suitably landscaped with new trees and shrubs. As you can see, Ms. Fraser has many costs to factor into her development, and the city has a variety of policies and processes in place to ensure community needs are met. Ms. Fraser can now start construction. Work crews will follow the city's building bylaw. The building will match both the development permit and building permit plans and will be inspected by the city during construction to ensure it is built properly. The city will also ensure that construction is sensitive to the surrounding neighborhood and maintain good neighbor relations. Once the building is complete, the city conducts a final inspection to ensure it has been built to code. Once approved, an occupancy permit is issued, and now people can move into the new building. This was just one scenario in a range of possibilities. However, the important thing to take from this example is that planning and development are subject to a robust system of plans, policies, and land uses that work together to build and maintain great neighborhoods. Prior to starting any development process, it is best to first contact the city's Planning and Development Department. If you are interested in getting involved in any of Coquitlam's planning processes or seek to understand more about how development works, please visit our website.
Good. May, you're up first, and then Brent.
Two things. I love it. One, somewhere in there, I think at the beginning, that people think that an OCP is written in stone. And even though you got a little bit into it before you said you can change in that, I really think somewhere up in the beginning that, although they are deemed to be what the city requires at the time, they are not written in stone or something. I think that's really important. That's why we're in trouble as Bird Mountain. The other thing that I would say, there's so many steps, and the one when the consolidation of the lots, and it should be, somehow people don't understand that land titles gets involved, that they have to have, I don't know if you want to put a one-liner in about that. But the only complaint I would have about that video, I love it, it's perfect, I love the fact that you name the applicant because it makes people feel like it could be them. She spoke too fast. There was so much information, and she was speaking just that teeny bit too fast. That you'd have to stop, and you'd go back and you'd have to listen to it a few times if you weren't familiar. So, but
Mr. McIntyre, did you want to respond to that?
great.
Yeah. No, thank you, Councilor Reid. Really good feedback. That last the last comment, we realize it's really tricky, particularly with this video here, because there's a lot of information you're trying to convey.
Great.
And we really worked the dialogue closely, so there was, as Andrew said, that balance between accurate information but also making it understandable. There's a lot of ground for, it was one of our staffers, Alina, our GIS person, who's the narrator, to cover at the same time having the
Oh, no, I get it.
the
Yeah,
video
it's
part.
just-
We'll certainly take that into account with the next one. The OCP designation flexibility, I know we had added something in there, but I think we can add a little bit more on that, so we'll take that away as and certainly noting the LTO rental office.
Or even if you said something like, although precise, it's not written in stone. Yeah, so.
Yeah, just some words that, sure.
Okay, Councillor Osmondson, and then
Well,
Mr.
we had great mind things like, when I saw the thing, I looked at the first thing and I thought, we had in Coquitlam, we had the BD Tower and the people complaining about no plan or the plan and all that, and the Burke Mountain and how we've always said, these documents are living documents. They have flexibility and they're not always updated at the proper time and things. So there has to be that, I think what May says, not written, there's something has to be extra phrased into that there's flexibility in these documents. The one thing I did in your thing, it shows the development act as approved, right? I think approved or not. Because I think sometimes people look at development as just being a rubber stamp. Okay? And when I saw the approved, I'm just going, well, they're going to look and say, well, that's how it happens. It just gets approved. And so if it's approved or not, in that thing, right? And a little bit about if it's not approved, it just, that ceases the process, right? I think people have to understand that. And I guess if you touched on it, I guess it's sort of outside your video, sort of stepping out here, it's the, how are we doing on our construction impacts? Are we living up to what we're saying within the video? Because we did have in Coquitlam different areas problems with construction impacts, and how are we doing?
No, certainly I want to make sure that that aspect was covered off in the video and in the script. Just remind people it's not done till it's done. To be honest, I haven't heard much of late on that. I know in speaking with our building permits managers, they're certainly on top of that or monitoring that, and they do respond. But I haven't received much feedback, negative feedback myself of late. Now, maybe council has, but
I haven't had any. I just a question was out. It just came in the video, so I just thought, since we're putting in a video about the impacts and low impacts, are we still on top of that and managing it as well? Just since we're putting in there, people are that's going to raise that expectation.
no, absolutely, and we want to put that out there, and we want to live up to that, as we expect the applicants and their contractors to.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. McIntyre. Okay.
I'm done.
Okay, Mayor Stewart?
Who's the target audience?
The general public, for the most part, it would be
Papers of development or proponents of development?
primarily it would be people that would attend other sessions, open houses, as Andrew was saying, and where we have just ordinary residents, property owners. They see the construction happening down the street. What's that mean? How's that happen? To be, as I said, a little bit of a introduction and primer for those that aren't involved in the development game to get some understanding.
And now there's a couple of details. I think it's a great video. I think, and now we're just tweaking it, or perhaps contemplating tweaking it. One is the OCP by parcel. I don't know. I think it's where the OCP identifies exactly what's going everywhere, and I don't know if that's exactly what's going on each parcel, that sort of stuff. It's sort of more general, a little bit more general than that. It doesn't identify when a development permit is not necessary. It says that the development permit will be necessary because it doesn't imply that it's necessary because it's multifamily. The word multifamily appears there, and a development permit is required, and so I don't know. At the same time, we don't do anything related to subdivision in the other direction, and I assume there's another video planned about subdivision in the other direction. This is an uncommon one. This is like 10% of our subdivision will be in this direction, and most of our subdivision will be subdivided.
Like a housing choices
not
one or something.
consolidation. This is consolidation. It's going to happen 20 times in our city this year. So I'm trying to, I don't know how we can incorporate the other direction of subdivision. It's funny how we do it. We say future school site. We don't say potential future school site or proposed future school site or maybe future school site. This has been identified as a possible future school site. And so I think we have to be disciplined enough wherever we put those words, future school site, there's a qualifier at the beginning of it that says it's not necessarily. And the last one was, I want to manage expectations. The city will also ensure, I think it said building meets building code or something, and then it said, and that the builder maintains good neighbor relations. Well, we don't ensure that the builder maintains good neighbor relations. We don't have very many teeth in that, very many tools in that toolbox. So we might want to manage the expectations of the public into thinking that we can step in there and that we will defend the public when the builder doesn't maintain good neighbor relations. If Springbank does what Springbank did before, we might refuse him the next development permit, but there's very little we were able to do to make it so that his workers didn't have a boxing match in the middle of the street. I think let's not set ourselves up for a future school being there and that we are going to protect everybody from any kind of impact of development. Or else let's figure out how to protect them from the impact of development. But we can't say on the video that we do if we don't. That's it. I think it's a great video. I think the more we do that kind of stuff, the more the public will understand these processes.
Okay, thank you. And Councillor O'Neill.
Thanks. I can't disagree with anything that these guys said. It didn't move too quickly. I did get my back straightened up when I saw approved right away. Yeah, we don't rubber stamp things. So those are good points. And as I was watching it, I thought because there's so much information in there, and it was moving so quickly, that a simple solution might be to, when you, right beside the place where you click on the video, that you can also click on a PDF for a script of the video, or a summary of the steps or something. It's just even a script with some bolded development permit, rezoning, consolidation, OCP, just something like that. So you can actually, have that, print that out and have that in hand as you're watching, make notes on it, something like that. Be easy, probably just the script, but I think people learn, it'll sink in better that way. That's how it works for me. That's it, thanks.
Thank you, Councillor O'Neill. And Councillor Reid.
Just on that, Cherry, that's good. When I do listings and stuff, I usually have a list of just moving what to do. That's really good. The next one you do, Richard brought it up, so the next one you do that would be the most familiar now would be just someone with a 10,000 square foot lot. So now we can get into some of our housing choices, and so I would like to see that you have the zones. RS1 equals 6,000 square feet and over, and RS3 is 4,000 square feet and under, or whatever. And then explain the housing choices. And so clearly they can get that if they have a 10,000 square foot lot, oh boy, what can we have, and what area we're in. And I think that's the next one to go, isn't it? And talk just a tad slower, not very much, but just that much that it sinks in before she's on to the next one. Because these people don't live this like you do. Yeah.
All right. Anyone else have any comments for that great video? Yes, Mr. McIntyre.
If I could just thank you again, Mayor and Council, for your time and viewing the video and your feedback. Just a couple of quick comments and response. We realized with this particular video how development happens. We had to pick a setting, a development type. There's such a range. But if council is supportive of this, we can. I think actually absolutely a Southwest Coquitlam housing choices type of scenario. But we need to think about something up in the Northeast as well, because we've got the visioning process underway. I think there's a lot of expectations growing up there. So maybe it's 2 more videos that are to be done in time. We'll certainly do that. What we'll do is take away the comments today to the extent we can. We'll revise the narration.
Not much. Just
Not much, but we'll cover off the main points, certainly. The suggestion of having the script, that's very interesting. That'd be helpful. As I mentioned, there is a brochure that's being produced that very closely follows the video, so that would be available as well. But we can talk about making the script available so someone can follow through that. And if I sense that the council's supportive of this, we'll take that away and we'll work into our budget and our work program, possibly 2 additional videos that maybe later this year or early next year before we get to that. But just as a quick aside on that, they are quite cost effective. I was surprised, actually amazed when they told me the initial price. But it comes at a bit of a cost because we do a lot of the work ourselves. Visualizing the whole process, the scripting, trying to get the images in mind, and really using the consultant, the videographer, as kind of an extension of our staff team. So it's a great exercise.
Thank you, Mr. McIntyre. We have 2 more comments. Councillor Hodge and then Councillor Wilson.
I thought it was good. Same comments. The one thing that caught me certainly is that one of the things we see a lot of is subdividing, and we have areas of the city where housing choices, of course, is the big thing. But we have other areas where we're going into building brand new communities in Greenfield. I'm talking Burke Mountain, and we're all now getting a lot of emails, primarily because as more people move up there, there's more eyes watching and more questions being asked about the process. We've moved beyond the people that were there 15 years ago when the process started. I'm finding I'm now getting questions from people who moved in a year ago, and obviously the property and everything that they live in went through this, but now they're watching the next piece next to them go through the process. And I think it's important to outline in a little more detail what our roles are. And, you know, we alluded to pipes in the ground, but I think, you know, such things as parks and fire halls, just sort of explain a little more, you know, in detail what the roles of some of the different agencies are, the role of a developer, our other partners in providing amenities, who does what. And I think that, granted, I know you've got a lot on your plate, but I see more and more questions and things coming into the city. And I think the sooner this is able to point people to sort of say, hey, check out this video, then give us a call. I think the ability to maybe sort of print a lot of the questions and things that are going to be coming forward in the next few months to a year could be really well addressed here. This is a really good explanation. The format of which you've laid this out, I think, is easy to understand, and I think that it would be a great benefit. But as we have found, that the challenges and the concerns and the type of development in one part of the city are very different than the other part of the city.
Councillor Wilson.
I think they're great, but I can't really support them until I know how much they cost. I mean, obviously we trust you, but you know, do you have a rough idea of what the cost per minute of something like that would be?
The overall project budget for the videographer was $15,000
For the 3 videos.
for the 3 videos.
How much?
$15,000.
It's about 5,000 a video.
And so this was 8 minutes, so separate video or better, so.
Which was explained to me. I had very little basis. It seemed fairly affordable for 3 videos. It was explained to me that that's actually, I wouldn't say a bargain basement price, but it's a pretty good price for this type
In
of
fact, the 15,000 does not include staff time.
Not staff time. I made that clear. That's separate.
So 20,000 then, 25,000?
Staff time. Andrew?
It's probably better to measure staff time in hours than money.
Oh, yeah, I don't need an answer now.
A team of what, 4 for a month?
We keep giving you suggestions for more videos. We should have some idea of how much we're sort of committing ourselves to when we want more videos. So if you can just take that away and maybe get back to us at some point, that'd be great.
Anything else, Councillor Wilson?
No, that's great.
Okay, Councillor Marsden?
I think the comments that have made are all very valid. I agree. They look great. It's 2 we've seen now. I think that's tremendous. Getting some uptick with the YouTube and the Facebook. I think when we look to Councillor Wilson's point about spending some money on these things, my piece would be make sure we're getting our return. So maybe we investigate some small additional cost, upping the viewing in terms of some social media buys that are going to drive activity. I think for very little expense, you can turn a video that might get 100 views into something that gets 6,000 or 7,000 for very, very little expense. So, and I think our manager of communications will know far more about that than I do.
All right.
In fact, that would just be my comment to that. And again, I should remiss in not mentioning corporate communications. They've been a huge part of the team, very, very helpful. Got some very talented people, some great ideas. So that's something that we'll take away. And actually, we're meeting with Kathleen and one of her staff later this week, so we can have that discussion.
All right. Well, thank you.
Adjournment?
All in favor? Opposed? Adjourned. Thank you very much.
Move receipt of this item.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.